welcome to the first public AlpaCafé meeting. I'm very great that now everybody can join here. And we will again have a quick introduction today. And we'll then again, we'll share some new features, not some new updates with you. And at the end, we always, we like always have a quick slot for questions and feedbacks and so on. So for the new people here, we want to exchange with you. We want to learn from you. We want to learn how you're using Alpaca and the different functionalities, and based on that, basically want to improve Alpaca. Everybody can now join, so please feel free to also invite your colleagues or something like that. Our topics are mostly targeted to users of Alpaca. So for the topics one to be understandable, you might need to have used Alpaca beforehand, but we always try to keep it basic and make it understandable for everybody. Most of the topics are a little bit technical, so you need to have some AL development knowledge for it. But sometimes we also have some topics for non-developers that we will always share an agenda beforehand. So you can then decide if you want to join or not. Starting now, we will also record the meetings and we'll publish the meetings on YouTube, so everybody can watch the recordings afterwards as well. And yeah. Some more words. Like I mentioned, AlpaCafé is public now. Everybody's welcome to join. And starting now, we will also mark the different topics with the scope basically. So you can always see which topic is available for which integration basically. So keep an eye on those icons here to see whether a feature is available for GitHub or for DevOps, and whether a feature is available in the Cosmo Alpaca or the Cosmo Alpaca preview extension. Also, if you know anybody who also is interested in Alpaca or also want to learn about new features, new news, and so on, please spread the link to everybody. So we will be some more members in the future. Also use the Q&A tab to answer your questions. We will always keep an eye on the Q&A tab to answer the questions and to get the feedback and so on. Okay, so with that, let's start with the recent issues and fixes. That's basically covering all the different backends and extensions. So first of all, the publishing app. I mentioned that before a few weeks that we had some problems when there are, for example, some compile errors in applications. And then during the publish of those applications, it can happen that the publishing just hangs and nothing goes on basically for BC24 and above. And recently we now implemented a workaround that fixes that issue and at least shows the compile errors again. And this was also rolled out to everybody. Then a quick update on the performance in BC24 and above. Like also mentioned before, the performance in BC24 and above is a little bit slower than with older versions. We now also are asked ready to escalate the issue to the leadership team at Microsoft for Business Central. And we hope that we get some updates from there at least to hopefully make the issue less present in the future. In the meantime, we also started to investigate some workarounds to at least reduce the impact for our users. And we will keep you up to date if we have something there. Then a quick note for our Cosmo users. Again, please use the Kronos and latest licenses if you aren't using it in your project yet. So starting with BC23, you can always set the license file to empty, use the Kronos licenses, and also in earlier versions you can set the license file to empty if you don't use any third-party dependencies. If you're using third-party dependencies in previous versions, then you can still use the Kronos license of the newer versions. can just yeah, use that URL. I also posted on Viva Engage, and if that for some case doesn't work for you, then you can always use the latest licenses. Then a quick update on our feature moves. So for those who haven't heard it yet, we have the Cosmo Alpaca preview extension as basically the goal for our in the future new extension. And currently we are moving all, or we are bringing all the features we have in the Cosmo Alpaca extension also to the Cosmo Alpaca preview extension. And we are using that to also implement some improvements, some refactorings into those different features. And what we recently added was the entity assignment that is currently available for Cosmo only. But I also wanted this meeting today to ask you or ask the other people externally of Cosmo if such a feature would also be interesting for you. We use it internally to assign customers to a different entity, so we always know which entity supports which customer, and also has some billing purposes for us. But maybe there are also other people who would be interested to do like a categorization of organizations or stuff like that. So I think it would be pretty simple to build it in a way that you can use any categories for assigning. So give us your feedback there if such feature would be interesting for you. And yeah. Next up, branches sublist. Also for the new Cosmo Alpaca preview extension for the GitHub part. And we now not only have the branches list in the tree view, but also underneath the branch, the respective branch, you can always find the projects and apps and containers filtered to the branch. So for example, here we for one have the main branch, and on the main branch we have the version of our application 1.3 and also a container created for the main branch. And if you now go to a feature branch, for example, then you can see on that feature branch, I already have updated my application version, and I also have one container created from that feature branch. So you always get a filtered view, so to speak. Okay, so that's it, at least from my side. Now we have Alpaca containers and Algo pipelines, and I think Patrick is presenting that.
Thank you, Markus. So we talked for a while now about the Algo features in Alpaca, and we had made a huge progress. I just tried to take control over the PowerPoint, but it did not work. So basically what we have done in the meanwhile, we have created our own ALGO template based on the default template from Microsoft, and we added our Cosmo Consult individual stuff. And now when you go to the newest version of the Alpaca preview, you already can choose the Alpaca BT. It is released today in the morning, so it is already available. When we use this, we can, next slide please. We can then execute the pipeline, and the pipeline automatically creates a Cosmo Alpaca container, and of course removes it after the process, and everything which is done in the pipeline will then be handled inside of the it's not handled inside of the container, but it connects to the container. So the apps are published to the container, and the tests are also executed in the container. The execution is parallelized. So the first step of the whole execution process is to start the container, and then the initialization and the compile and so on is starting. And in the meanwhile, the container is starting, and you don't have to wait for the container, so it's very fast. We've also introduced a new settings file for those who are using Azure DevOps already. There it's called Cosmo.json, but we are trying to restructure it a little bit and give it a new look and feel. So it's now the alpaca.json, and there will be the most of the functions of the Azure DevOps Cosmo.json will also be included in the alpaca.json in the future, but maybe not 100% the same way, because the Cosmo.json is from the very first version of Cosmo Alpaca, and we now try to make a new version of this.
Thank you, Patrick. We also have some new Cosmo JSON contribution that Ole will show you.
Everyone. Yeah, first off, we have some more Xlib sync integrations. We can now set up the translations. That we can now set up the build pipeline to test translations for missing translations or additional rules that Xlib sync provides. Also, the list is below the sentence. Yeah, you can run all tests or just the specific ones you want. I have an example in the screenshot. And you also can now set up the translation languages as an array instead of a comma-separated string. Next slide, please. Next, we have the possibility to set up a specific compiler version. You can define the compiler ESX version in the Cosmo.json, and yeah, it basically tries to use the version of the EL extension for VS Code and extracts the EL compiler from there. So you can define container to use the compiler from the that is already inside the container. That is default. If you don't set up compiler VSX version in the Cosmo.json, then this is a fallback value. You can use the latest version, the latest pre-release version, or you can define a specific version with the scheme that is shown here. And also, we can now set up lintercop and other code analyzers more easily. First off, we can set up the code cops or code analyzers now as an array. We can define DLLs or URLs to download and use as a code analyzer. And we also can define path insights that are already inside the container to DLLs. And as an addition, we also set up the lintercop as a shortcut basically for a code analyzer. This, if you set it up, the pipeline will download and use the DLL for the specific AI compiler version that is used to compile the app. If it's not found for the current version, then it falls back to the latest version of the lintercop. This also takes into account the rules of the defined rule set in the rule set file and the settings of the lintercop.json inside the app directory. Yeah, it's recommended to use the latest AL compiler version to always find the lintercop TLL. So you should set up compiler VSX version from the previous slide to use the latest version.
Great, thank you, Ole. We've in the meantime got a question from Christian. Is the repository based on Alpaca GitHub updated by Microsoft Algo repository or from Cosmo? Patrick, maybe you can answer that. You are on mute.
Thank you. So basically, it's a two-step update. You're not getting the updates directly from Microsoft. You're getting the updates from us. So we doing the updates against the Microsoft template, and when we have decided that everything is compatible with Cosmo Alpaca, then we will give you the updates from Microsoft. So there will be a little delay between the Microsoft releases, but we try to keep the delay as short as possible. And of course, we have to ensure the compatibility, because on some points we override functionality from Microsoft to make it work with Cosmo Alpaca. But Microsoft is currently introducing a feature in ILGO which is called customized template, and that's what we are using. So we already have a preview of this customized template feature, and this is used in the Alpaca BT template.
Great, thanks. And I think you can also continue with the page scripting.
Yeah, so the page scripting you might have heard about. It was introduced with BC24 as a preview. And next slide, please. And it gives you the possibility to create repeatable client scripts, which can be stored as YAML files, and you can use it to make integration and process tests. So basically, in the BC24 and now also in the BC25, you just open this page scripting side panel and you start recording, and then you save it as a file. But you can also load it from a file and replay it every time you want. So what's new is that Microsoft introduced a new tool which is called BC Replay, and this tool is gives you the possibility to replay the scripts without opening the client, and you can use it from pipelines and other tools and so on. So what is happening at the moment? Microsoft is integrating it in ALGO, so we will get it also for Alpaca for ALGO, and we are integrating it at the moment for the Azure DevOps template, so it will be available for Azure DevOps soon. Just a sneak peek how it will look. So there will be a new step inside of the pipeline, which is called Cosmo Run Page Scripting. And afterwards, the page scripting results will be published like normal test results. And when you then have a look at the test results after the pipeline, you see there's a normal test failure if there was a failure, or you just see the success message like it's for normal test automation. Another new thing which Microsoft is introducing is BcNuGet. First, a little introduction in NuGet. Basically, NuGet is a package management tool like a universal package for Azure DevOps, but NuGet is more generic for different tools. It is developed and heavily used by .NET, so most of the packages you might find online are just .NET packages, and NuGet can be structured in public and private feeds. So the most common public feed is nuget.org, where also some Microsoft resources are, and the feeds could be created in Azure DevOps or GitHub, so you can use it from both sides, and there are many other tools where you can create NuGet feeds. The difference between the universal package and NuGet is the handling of dependencies. So NuGet is capable to manage dependencies. So if you install a NuGet package, it will search for all dependencies of these packages and also install the dependencies. both of the package formats are just compressed archives. So if you have 7-zip or other tool which is supporting this compression algorithm, you just can open it and see what's inside. And basically for universal package, it's only the app file. That's why there are no dependencies at all or something like that. And for NuGet, we also have this metadata, which include the dependencies. This is how the metadata of a NuGet package look like. And as you can see here, we have, for example, a minimum version of Microsoft Platform for 2022. And we also have dependencies on 2 other apps which are not from Microsoft. And we also have the list of files. What does this mean for Business Central? Microsoft added NuGet to BC Container Helper to manage Microsoft apps, and they also added some functionality to create your own NuGet packages. And they also released 3 new feeds, which is Microsoft apps, Microsoft runtime apps, and app source symbols. I have here the mark work in progress, but that's not true anymore. I forgot to remove this. So that the feed is now online and public available and can be used. So you can download your app source symbols directly from a NuGet feed. So if you search for the sources in nav container or BC Container Helper, there's a new folder, NuGet, where all this is available. Yeah. So what we are doing now in Cosmo Alpaca, we integrate this whole NuGet stuff for the container startup. So we will be able to define dependencies in the Cosmo JSON or in the Alpaca JSON, and there will just be an dependency on an app of type NuGet, and all other dependencies will be installed during container startup, and you don't have to care about the whole dependency tree. It will care in the background for you. What we also will do, we will include NuGet in the pipeline. So if you have a look at the pipeline runs, there will also be the NuGet packages installed. And we will also include it in the VS Code extension. So first of all, the product packages view, which is now only supporting universal package, will also support NuGet in the future. And we will also include a new command to download all NuGet packages which you need for your current project. So basically a restore command, like it's in .NET. So you can download your current packages to your local folder and can start developing very, very fast.
Great, thank you. So if you have any open questions around the topics we presented, or also general questions, feel free to ask them now. Or also, if you have any proposals for topics we should talk about in the future, then also feel free to post them to the Q&A tab. Maybe a few more words to the NuGet part. Microsoft's also working on the BcNuGet inside of the it'll go for GitHub, so it will also come there natively. And I think for the GitHub side, it looks inside of the app.json file for the dependencies and then automatically downloads the dependencies from the trusted NuGet feeds. And for the DevOps side, we very likely need to still have some kind of dependency management in the Cosmo JSON. But yeah, we will look into that, how we can manage it easily. We wish you a nice weekend, and yeah, see you next time.